Welcome aboard Rocket Ship, the platform with the most relevant content for competitive examinations. This is Rocket Ship IAS Lab and continuing with our series on answer writing for general studies papers of civil service main examination. We take up a question that you might encounter in GS paper 3. As is customary with questions of GS paper 3, we have to caution you that for these type of questions, you do require certain type of comfort with the technical details. That is, you have to be absolutely certain to some extent, not entirely. You are not supposed to be an expert here, but you have to be certain about the terminology, for example, that you are using on your answer script. With this, we are introducing our question, that is, what do you understand by Lagrange point? How the Aditya L1 spacecraft launched in September 2023 will help in expanding the knowledge base of astronomy, mention some of its direct applications. So you have to first define this concept, that is Lagrange point. Then you have to talk about India's Aditya L1 spacecraft, which was launched in the year September 2023, and what are its objectives, that is how it would help, you could say, expand the current knowledge of the, you could say, astronomy. Moreover, you have to mention some of its direct applications. We are straight away going to define Lagrange point. That is, for astronomical contexts, a Lagrange point is a point between two large masses, say m1 and m2, where the gravitational attraction of m1 and m2 combine to form an equilibrium. So you can understand Lagrange point as a hypothetical point between two large bodies where their gravitational pulls are in equilibrium. A significant characteristic of Lagrange point 1 in the context of Earth and Sun, out of the 5 Lagrange points between the Earth and Sun, is that an object at L1 has the same orbital period as that of Earth. That is, its orbit, the star actually, it orbits the Sun in the same time period as the Earth. Earth-Sun Lagrangian point, that is point L1, is at an approximate distance of almost 1.5 million kilometers from the Earth. India's Aditya L1 mission is tasked with observing solar phenomena. The spacecraft carries the moniker L1 as it is, you can easily make out, as it is situated at Lagrange point 1 between Earth and Sun. That is, the Aditya L1 mission is situated at a distance of almost 1.5 million kilometers from the Earth. The mission's objectives are aimed at pushing the horizons of astronomical understanding, especially regarding the Sun and the solar phenomena. Aditya L1, how it would expand on our understanding of the Sun? It would first interpret phenomena like solar flare and other eruptive solar phenomena. Sometimes what happens, the Sun is observed to be erupting a large mass of, you could say, material, which is called solar flare, which are often called solar storms. And the Aditya L1 mission would be able to interpret these phenomena, for example, their nature, or for that matter, their, you could say, mechanism, to determine processes in Sun's corona and chromosphere. These are layers of Sun, and Aditya L1 mission would be able to determine the processes that are going on in the Sun's corona and chromosphere. To observe the heliosphere. Heliosphere is actually the influence zone of the Sun. Actually, it's quite you could say expansive, but for our present discussion we can understand it the zone outside of the sun's immediate layers. To study space weather and the mechanism of solar wind. Solar wind is regular ejection of masses of materials, actually of mass from the sun, which gives rise to the phenomenon of solar wind. And space weather is almost entirely due to the presence of solar winds. Sorry. Elaborating on these points, many solar phenomena like solar flare and other eruptions on the sun have remained an enigma, that is, they have not been deciphered. The origin and mechanism are not well understood. Aditya has the opportunity of solving this riddle, that is, it would be able to, you could say, interpret the mechanism as well as the nature of solar phenomena like solar flare and other eruptions from the sun. The processes that undergo in sun's layers like the corona and chromosphere and the physics behind them. Will be observed and interpreted by Aditya. Sorry, heliosphere is the influence zone of the sun. As we have been talking about heliosphere, as its very name suggests, it is the influence zone of this earth. It is the area immediately outside of the sun's immediate layers. Aditya has the mandate of studying the heliosphere. Moreover, the regular solar wind give rise to space weather. The solar wind interacts with Earth's magnetosphere. Solar wind interact with Earth's magnetosphere and affect Earth processes like the polar auroras. You might recall that two of the polar auroras which are often talked about are aurora borealis, which is in the northern polar region, and the other one is australis, which is observed in the southern polar region. So these phenomena can be better interpreted, they can be better understood through the observation of the Aditya L1 mission. Aditya's observation of space weather will elucidate our understanding, that it would throw light on our understanding, it would make our understanding more clear. We must also add that Aditya's work has immediate relevance. That is, Aditya work is not limited only to, you could say, adding to the corpus of astrophysics regarding the sun, but it has some immediate relevance, immediate application. Solar flares can interfere with radio communication, satellite navigation, and power transmission. Solar activity has direct bearing on long-term climate. Aditya L1 would add to the corpus of valuable knowledge regarding these practical aspects. For an example, we can be better prepared against the solar winds or solar storms through the, you could say, the knowledge that we gain from the work of Aditya L1 mission. Moreover, Aditya signifies India's contribution towards understanding a shared star, that is the star that the entire earth, each and every nation shares with each other, that is our only star, the sun. Aditya would be able to, you could say, interpret the processes that go on in the sun, and to be quite frank, these you could say theoretical things would have some application also, some real life application also. So that was all on Aditya L1 mission and its objectives. We would reassemble for the next lecture in a few days. As usual, we wish you all the best. Thank you.